when it comes to the design piece, it's the intentionality, I think, and it's the way that I convey to them why this choice, why this fabric, why this intention of this side table here specifically, really uncovering what the need is versus just fulfilling an order and being an order taker.
Hey kids, and welcome to Designed by Wingnut Social. I'm your host, Darla Jethro Powell, and today we are talking all about hospitality intertwined with interior design as a very high-value luxury aspect of interior design service, and nobody does it better than Harry Meyers of HLM Designs, and we're going to have a great conversation with him, of course. But first, I got to tell you about Wingnut Social, who is the sponsor of Designed by Wingnut Social. We are a digital marketing agency for you guys, interior designers, architects, to the trade home pros. We do social media, SEO, newsletters, blogging, all SEO driven in order to help your ideal client know who the hell you are to see you. So you show up on social media, you show up on digital marketing. When someone is typing in interior designer, Jolly Fats Weehawken, Susan McNuggets is showing up for that client and getting that phone call and getting signed. Find out more at wingnutsocial.com. Enough of that. Now I have to tell you all about Harry Meyers. Harry Meyers leads HLM Designs with infectious energy and a fresh eye for moody, transitional, eclectic, modern design. I love it. That's my favorite. A calculated risk taker, Harry's diverse professional background spans the worlds of corporate finance, marketing, hospitality, keyword there, event services, and interior design. His enthusiasm, exceptional taste, and extensive knowledge of materials and techniques inspire his clients to explore, experiment, and discover. I love it, Harry. Harry, what a gem of an interview this is. What a terrific human being. I know you're going to love. Help me in welcoming Harry Meyers to the show. Hey there, Harry Meyers. How the hell are you?
I am doing fantastic.
You look like you're doing fantastic. You look fabulous, sir.
Thank
you.
Look
amazing. For you guys who are just listening to our podcast, remember Designed by Wingnut Social is also on the YouTubes. Go on over and check it out so you can see Harry Meyers and how fabulous and handsome he is. And I want to start this conversation by saying, America's top model, give us your best smize. Let me see the smize. Look right into the camera and give me your best smize. Oh, wow.
And then like intense, like just all I'm thinking about is like sex. Like you're so that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do.
Wow, I'm feeling kind of away. Don't tell my wife. That's terrific. You had to have won. Did you win?
No,
that
I
was
didn't
incredible.
even know. Yeah, I didn't even make it. They weren't ready for the gingers, I think, that season when they introduced men into the cast. So that's what I'm chucking it up to. But went through a couple of rounds and then they're like, okay, thank you. Next.
Well, their loss. They have no idea. They just, right. From what I just saw, you should have won all the things.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Harry, thank you so much for joining us. So full disclosure, you're our Wingnut Social client, right? You're doing the hybrid plan right now. And that is how we came across, our paths crossed and the stars aligned and all the planets aligned. And here you are. And
here I am.
Sydney, your social media manager, said, we have to have Harry on the show because not only is he amazing and high energy, but it just needs to happen. Mm-hmm. And I'm very convinced, especially after the smize. If I had any doubts before, I'm sold now. Let me move my hands for my wife.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Thank you. Look how loose and relaxed I am, Shell.
Yeah, there you go.
So your interior business, you have HLM Designs. Mm-hmm. Okay. Is a little bit of a different animal, right? So you incorporate not only the interior design piece, but more as to how it pertains to events and hospitality and life experiences. Do I have that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So talk about that with me, that journey. Was it always that, or was it something else and it morphed into that? Tell me about it. I want to hear.
My background is hospitality specifically. When I was going through college, I worked at I find and would say the most three staple things that you as a college student would live on, which is Olive Garden, Starbucks, and Panera Bread. All at once is where I was going through school and doing this. So those three things, if you can work at a place like those, then you're set with school, because it's just, as a college student, it's a little challenging to kind of live life while you're going to college and paying your way. So hospitality was just kind of in my blood from the very beginning. I come from a family of entrepreneurship. My father's had his own business. My mom has had her own business. My grandfather, my grandmother, and it's just in our DNA. And so hospitality for me kind of started along that vein at a very young age, unbeknownst to me, and then just kind of grew and perpetuated into the banking career that I went into for public relations and background. I was actually going to school for nursing to be a nurse
Oh,
anesthetist.
wow.
And right brains, it's very challenging to kind of go through that schooling. So I quickly shifted over to the more artistic side where my background into dance and everything. But hospitality has now, fast forward to present day, been a part of my DNA. And that experience when a guest walks into either a restaurant or a hotel or a space, what is the immediate initial experience that they have and that they're able to then leave with at the end of their experience too as well. So that thought process from A to Z is really kind of been the mindset as I've implemented that and been a part of the design phase between events and interiors.
Wow, so that's quite a different journey, right? Going from banking, which is like really numbers, left brain, kind of,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine you in banking. And then just was there a time where you were like, okay, I have to do this because, we don't want to do Olive Garden Panera Bread. It's a day to day, it's 40 hours that you were just like, screw this. I'm going to follow my passion. Did you make any kind of like scary leap to do that?
The scary leap was actually starting out in the assisted living facility. I was a
Oh,
supervisor with that during nursing school. So it was really the stepping stone. It wasn't necessarily scary in the sense of I'm leaving hospitality to go into the career focus at the time. It was just the uneasiness that comes with when you make that decision to go in that direction. And then from there, it transitioned to banking. And banking started as a teller. So I was the one that you would come inside the branches of the drive through. And then I just worked my way up to the office of the CEO and president for the former company, transitioned
wow.
to credit unions. And then I was business development manager that I worked with a couple of branch locations in the Tampa Bay area. And still hospitality being the focus because it's a people
Yeah.
industry and touching them in that sense.
Well, okay. So at what point were you in the banking industry then? And then just said, you know what? Screw this. Let me just start my own hospitality interior design business. That had to have been quite a jump.
Yes, it was actually. The thing I think this probably speaks to most people and even me today is you're letting go of the thing that is secure. So for me, it was the banking career that I had in one hand, and then jumping and pursuing the thing that you love most, which was design. I had been doing
Yes.
events. That kind of was the perpetuant forward motion of what was my former company name that I had before I rebranded a couple of years ago to HLM. That was a leader. And then I had picked up like interior design, little projects for friends and families here and there. And now that has become the actual forefront runner in the business. And with that experience through banking, I've been doing it for 20 years in banking. And it wasn't actually until COVID. COVID was the one that forced me to jump and let go. And for me, that was a blessing in disguise. I look back at that and realize, okay, that the one thing I wanted to do and was making small steps to that direction of leaving the banking world and going in that because of the unknown, the fear, the whatever the case may be, where COVID forced me to, where I was furloughed. And luckily, my two household income, my husband was really doing great with his career in the mortgage industry, as we now can look back and see that trend happened. And so it afforded me the opportunity to then go into what it was and try my hand at doing the events and doing the actual interiors on a more professional scale, if you will, and let that be something that I was going to just kind of run with and let it be who I am.
How fortuitous. It was meant to be.
It was.
Everything happens for a reason. So at the
It
time, you're
does.
probably like, COVID, and getting furloughed. That sucks. But now look.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
I'm a huge believer in things happening for a reason. I like to say it's divine appointment, not a coincidence. There are
I
things
like
I think
that.
on our journey and our path that if, as long as we're open to it, and sometimes we're not open to it and it just happens, it's just the cards that are dealt or the chips that fall. But when you're open to it and you really embrace it, that is where the true success of your future is in whatever facet that you're interested in doing, whether career or jumping out into becoming your own business owner.
I agree. So Sydney wants me to ask you this
Okay.
one question. Your social
Sure.
media manager. How does your background in hospitality actually influence the way you approach design projects? Maybe not event driven, right? So what is that whole ethos there?
Yeah, for me, I think it's all about and this is probably very applicable to a lot of other designers who have already paved the way and maybe more successful, and guys and gals like myself who are just kind of out there. The thought process is that what is the experience as a homeowner or a commercial business? Because I do small businesses too as well. The experience when you walk into the door of your own home or the commercial business that you want your guests or clients to feel. What does that look like? And putting yourself in them in their shoes. So there are a lot of decorators out there that will make things look pretty, but then there are also those designers that will be either considered like full scope design or full encompassing design from beginning to end with spatial planning, getting in contact with the client's general contractor or builder prior to all selections and floor plans being finalized to really invoke into those spaces thoughts of how they're going to live their life. Because I think we're in a society where it's gimme, gimme, gimme. My name is Jimmy. You go to McDonald's, you're like, I want a 2 all beef patty special sauce that is cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame bun. They're like, hey, you want a biggie size that for whatever cents? And you're like, sure do. And you're in and out of the drive-thru in what? Like 60 seconds flat, right? Because we have been, I think, not in a bad way, this word, but corrupted or influenced on I want it now. And what's the quickest way that I can get it? Amazon is the biggest thing, I think, that has really changed our culture with everything. And so people kind of don't realize when they're shopping for homes or they're building for homes and it's an actual map plan that's been given to them that that's where they have to stay. And that's not where they have to stay within those parameters. You can kind of remove things and do things or add things that are going to create a better life for you in your home and what you're going to live, or a better experience for your small business clients that when they walk in the door.
I love that. And as someone who's addicted to both Amazon and McDonald's, that resonates. It resonates bigly.
Oh, man.
It resonates bigly with me. So I want to walk back a little bit. So when you started the hospitality and the interior design situation, am I correct in understanding that you had two different landing page, two different accounts for that? Like one was here's my event side and here's my interior design side, right?
Yes.
Okay, because a lot of interior designers, when they come to us here at Wingnut, they'll have that. They'll say, okay, I want to have the design, but I also want to be a thought leader and I want to have a separate YouTube channel or whatever that looks like, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, why not put those together and then make it a real powerhouse? Because just because you have a design business doesn't mean you can't also elevate that to the lifestyle or a facet of that with the hospitality.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So you did end up combining them, right?
I did. I was actually one of those individuals that are like, okay, I want to separate the two. And it wasn't until other individuals kind of resounding the same gong that Wingnut Social, I think, just hit the bullseye for me during our kind of conversations and our deep dives that there's no reason, if you are the brand in which you're representing, whether that is the next thing or the other thing, then individuals do business or are attracted to those people that they like. So if you are somebody who is either an influencer, we're all influencers. We just may not be at the paid level as other influencers or more followers that are out there that have larger, but we are an influencer of some capacity. And I think I have wrapped my head around making things easier. My dad has always told me you can do things the hard way or you can do things the easy way. And I think that's just applicable in this moment of there's no reason to have an events page and then an interiors page when I'm able to offer both in a way that was within my niche that I've niched down to what I'm looking for as the ideal client and what my capacity, what I find passion in specifically doing. And that's been through the journey with you guys over the last 6 to 8 months, almost a year, maybe.
Yeah, I think come
August,
it'll be
a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it has made a difference for you.
Huge. And
okay,
it saved a lot of time and energy and efforts because I'm not trying to think of two different paths or two different avenues and marketing efforts and like what's going to do good on this. It's all on one. It's combined both services. If I'm a good fit for an event client, great. If I'm a good fit for an interior client or a small business client, they're able to see what I'm able to do. And it's on one page versus them having to try to figure out who am I, what is it that I do, and what services can I offer them.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that, in some cases it makes sense, right? If you're going to do something.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very, but I think in your situation and most that I see interior designers who are the face of the business and they're related, right? Those two things are very related.
Yeah, very much so.
So I think it makes sense. And I'm very glad that you did that. So I want to know, like, when you're working on, let's say, a residential design. I know you mentioned commercial, but I didn't do commercial, so I can grasp residential a little bit better.
That's fine.
Commercial is scary to me. When you're designing a home for Sam and Sally, Jefferson, and we as interior designers will go through, we'll do the floor plan, we're talking with them, we're going through their Pinterest boards, we're getting their aesthetic, we're doing the design, we're picking things, we're presenting them, right?
Yeah.
What in that process, that very razor process that I just mentioned is different for you when incorporating that hospitality piece, right? What extra things are you baking into that presentation, that service that are like specific?
Yeah, for me, what I've learned this several years ago, after COVID, I was able to join an actual high-end luxury floral company in the events world. So it really just kind of gave me a different viewpoint at that more luxurious level. And one of the things that that owner really just embodied was the textures and touch. So igniting your senses. And I think that it's easy for me to kind of explain that to you in words in a conversation, but it's different when it's a part of who you are, what you implement, and then how you convey that to your client in front of you regarding that hospitality experience. One of the specific instances is like even an event that I have coming up next week is going to be where the texture of what the napkin is at a table and how that touches your mouth. That is a
Wow.
hospitality thought process. And velvet is one of the things that is the most luxurious feelings, whether it's faux velvet or real velvet. But when you wipe your mouth after you take a bite, it just invokes a different sensory kind of feeling with that. And that is kind of the thought process. There's our limits on how hospitality you can go within any realm, but it's just that additional guest experience. Like I'm always reminded, like when you're at a table and you order a bottle of wine at a more upscale place, they come with that napkin draped over their arm and they serve it and present it to you that way. That is the detail of the hospitality experience. That's just another level versus if you go to your local Applebee's or Olive Garden. No shame to those, but just in general, it's just you walk in, you're greeted, you're then taking your order, but there's not that extra level of experience. And so when it comes to the design piece, it's the intentionality, I think, and it's the way that I convey to them why this choice, why this fabric, why this intention of this side table here specifically. Do you come in your front door and drop your keys off? Is that important there? Or do you come in through the garage? Like most families do. Those types of things, really uncovering what the need is versus just fulfilling an order and being an order taker.
So you're really digging into their lifestyle and their
Hmm.
experiences and how they live to the nth degree. I mean, if we're doing,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
And it's not easy. It's
It's a
hard.
luxury.
Yeah.
It's
But it
yeah.
is a luxury for sure. It's understanding what that means to them. And it's asking, I think, the right questions because there's so many times that you can ask questions or you can be questioning, but asking the right question that will reveal to you what the answer is. I'm actually reminded by a TV show on Netflix called The Residents. Right now, that's number two. I think it's fantastic, but it's like basically a clue TV show of a murder in the White House. Not to give
Yeah.
too much away, but
Shonda Rhimes.
yes,
Yeah.
hmm.
I love it. It was good.
I love her. And
Yeah.
so the lead detective in this is someone who postures themselves as they ask a question and they stare at the person
Yes.
and they just sit there and they just wait and she waits and then they give another answer and then she waits, they give another answer and then the truth comes out. And so it's kind of that thought process of understanding your audience and who you're talking to and just letting them talk instead of you feeding them the answers of, hey, do you want this size or this size? I think this size would be good, because just let them answer and then answer their questions and then respond versus feeding it to them, you know?
Yeah, I love it. First of all, The Resident's great recommendation. That
Hmm.
actress, she was in Orange is the New Black. I
Yes,
forget
she
her
was.
name.
She's fantastic.
She's
Ubu doobu doobu
terrific.
doo is what I say. I
Something
don't know.
Oobadoo, yeah, something. But she's terrific. I love her very
Yeah.
much. I want to be her best friend. And her character's into birding, which is so
Yes.
odd. But so is my wife and I. That's how we roll.
Oh,
It's
that's awesome.
we're a hot young sexy couple out into birding. Don't hate. Don't hate because you ain't into birding.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So okay, so I am going to ask you the scary question. Let's talk it
Okay.
because we have commercial designers out there who want to
Hmm.
know how you bake in this luxury hospitality feel on the commercial, and that seems to me to be a little bit more difficult to do, or unless you're just doing boutique,
I am.
one-off business. Okay, there we
Yeah,
go. Look
I'm
at how
doing more
smart I am.
boutique. Yeah, so
Okay.
smaller businesses, your like aesthetics, like Botox. There's a blowout salon right now that I'm currently working on, and then like a psychiatrist office. So these small boutiques, like 2,000 square feet at most, small businesses, not chains, not large. So yeah, it is more bespoke in that sense, which in its sense is also luxurious and kind of offers that
Yeah,
hospitality sense with it.
for sure. I love it. So if you're not a hairdresser and you're not a psychiatrist, listening has to be crucial in that
Yes.
moment. How are
Yeah.
we? I'm curious for the psychiatrist office. What elements are we baking in there that it has that boutique high end hospitality element? I've been to some psychiatrist office and I have not experienced this. So I
I think,
really want to know.
yeah, small businesses, I think in general that I have found across, at least in the Tampa Bay area that I've kind of been with, the biggest change, and not every designer I think comes with this approach, is lighting.
Okay.
Commercial properties are just really stark. They're not warmth. It's layered lighting. It's intentional layered lighting. But when it comes to actually invoking the hospitality aspect into the interior design, it's what does the guest feel like, or the client, when they walk into the door? There's only so much that I can control as the consultative designer coming in to kind of revamp or give a reface. It's really going to come down to, after I leave, what the employees do to kind of create that experience embodiment. But at least when they walk in, there's a visual aesthetic and appeal to the space. It's not sterile. It's more warm. It's
Yeah.
inviting. It's kind of a little bit piece of their home, or what maybe they hope their home could be like if their home isn't where they want it to be, and invoking those types of touches throughout. So area rugs being introduced where area rugs are applicable to different offices. You can't do that in like a hair color salon, because rugs are not going to be, that's just not going to work at all. At all.
Ooh,
You're going to spend more time cleaning them than you will be actually taking care of your actual clients.
true.
But yeah, it's just introducing the thought process. Drapery. I love drapery. I think drapery is one of the easiest ways to introduce into a commercial space when they don't have it, where it's applicable. It softens these private office rooms when you're either counseling or meeting with someone, or even in a head spa, which is like, I don't know if you've seen it or have you ever experienced it, but it's these beds, water beds that you lay in, and they do your entire scalp, massage,
Oh
clean, wash,
my.
all of it. It is the best thing. So if you haven't done it, I
I
recommend
have
you and
not.
anyone listening to most definitely seek out in your local area a head spa space. It's just that experience when you're in there in the enclosure. Is it a cocoon kind of feeling? And is it just sensual and moody, offering you those types of hospitality feelings? I think hospitality goes beyond just what you see. It's what you feel when you walk into a space.
I love it. And that definitely to me reads high-end experience,
Hmm.
that attention to detail. And that's what clients who are looking for interior designers who are willing to go above and beyond and just let you do your thing and want that high-end experience, that's what they
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
They just don't want someone, here's a rendering, here's the stuff. See you later.
Yep.
I love it. And I love the thought of the lighting for the shrink's office, right? For the psychiatrist's office, because when you're feeling depressed or
Yeah.
down, seriously, lighting
Yeah.
temperature
Yes.
affects you in a
It does.
psychological way. If you have like
Yeah.
a 5,600 lighting temperature,
Hmm.
like daylight, that I don't
You're
know. I
like,
mean,
oh
that
my God, it's so bright. I want to tell you all my problems, but it's so bright. Yeah. It
or
doesn't work.
well, I have my lighting here is 5,600 because it's supposed to be like here's a window, but it's
Yeah.
not. I'm in a closed room. Makes me I feel happy looking at my light.
My lights are the warm. I have the warm options right here, and I closed my window too, because I was like, I got to make sure I look real
No, your
good.
lighting's fabulous, and I love your
Yeah.
background here. It's
Oh,
really
thank you.
beautiful. You must
Thank
be a
you.
designer or something.
Listen, I might be. Who knows?
It does not read banker. I will just tell you that right now.
No, that's interesting. That my career path is just where it was. Is just things, and I'm thankful for that, because I think it cultivated me to where I am today. And even through banking, I still developed and cultivated the hospitality aspect. And I think from like teachers they're also about hospitality is another field I can think of, because they're dealing with kids and kids' parents, more so kids, but just anything that you interact with on a face-to-face basis with anyone other than you or your family,
Yeah.
that's considered a hospitality. And how do you want to make that? I mean, Chick-fil-A, that Jesus chicken, man, they're like my pleasure. And sometimes I want to ask them, and like, are you sure it's your pleasure? Is this really your pleasure? Because now it's become robotic in that sense of this is what, but I understand the intention behind it. That
Yeah,
is another level of hospitality that's been created, which they've
that's
carved
true.
out within the industry, that has literally set them apart from all the other fast food places. And so,
That's true, and I love
yeah,
me some good Jesus chicken. I go
yeah,
there, and they're always they are run so tight. The
yes,
experience is always another restaurant that's near us. I don't know if you have them where you are. Is Mission Barbecue?
yes, we have them here too. Hmm.
At least the one here. They
Yeah,
are on point. When you go in, the
yes,
customer service is just the best. And
yes,
I will, even if their barbecue is, which it's not,
yeah,
it's good.
yeah,
I would go there over just for that experience. And
yeah,
I think that says something, right? Is how you treat it's at the end of the day, we're as interior designers, architects, we're not selling a commodity.
no,
Right. It is that human
yeah,
luxury service. It's not
yeah,
inexpensive because
hmm,
it's not, McDonald's, like you said, it's not
yeah,
Amazon, which is great. It's ephemeral. You get the stuff, your dopamine goes, but this is something deeper.
yeah,
You're changing lives. You're giving people these human experiences, weddings and that will remember forever. That's a super special niche. I love
Yeah.
it. And speaking of niches, a lot of interior designers are really afraid to narrow their window, their service window, to be specific, to be like hospitality interior design, because they feel like they're leaving out, the decorating job here, or the paint consultation, or designer
Yeah.
for a day, or all these revenue streams.
Yep.
It seems counterintuitive sometimes for interior designers, right? How much did deciding on really laser focusing your niche on this hospitality themed service for your interior design, how much did that change your business?
I think it's changed my business in a way that I was not aware that it would.
Okay.
I know that individuals and a lot of learning that I've other podcasts, yours and a few others that I listen to on a regular basis about niching down to really don't make it so broad, your
Yeah.
ability, because what sets you apart. So you are the individual that's going to set yourself apart. That's first and foremost. Let's just give ourselves credit. People like to do business, like I mentioned earlier, with people that they like. So just be likable. And then further than that, what makes you different than Sally Smalley down the street that's also offering the same services? Is it the confidence? Is it what it is that you're offering in terms of your educational aspect? Is it the way that you approach each conversation, even through what I call the discovery phase, when someone reaches out and they're interested? They reached out because they saw something that caught their eye. So now it's my responsibility to kind of look at what that is and then let them know that this is what I'm able to offer. And then hospitality is just always leading it. So I don't know, to be completely honest, if that is specifically a niche for me, but it's just been who I am. And maybe it's a niche because doing the hospitality and niching that down, it's just been a part of my blood. So I've never looked at it as a niche, but others have said, and I've asked about like what it like that is. And I'm like, okay. And so I never really realized it was a niche until I've kind of just moved forward. And one of the things I think personally, I'm just going to plug this in to be a little transparent. Living your most authentic self, no matter where you are in life or at what journey, is going to be the biggest payful reward for you. And until you truly find out who you are on your journey, you will always be chasing after, well, if this isn't going to work, then let me try this, or maybe let me do this. But if you're living your authentic life, and I'm a testament to that in the last literally 8 months, 6 to 8 months, there's been a shift to me personally as I'm kind of gearing for 2025 and what I want to do. Being authentic and living your most authentic life. It's not perfect every day, and it's a little scary sometimes, but all you have to do is live today as your best day. You don't got to worry about tomorrow. You just plan for the next day for scheduling, but focus on today. And so I think authenticity has been one of the drivers along with hospitality, and opportunities come when they need to come. And I recognize that and I welcome it, but I never really knew that hospitality was considered quote unquote a niche.
It is, and it's brilliant. It's so good. And I love that you're in the moment. You're living your moment. That's something I have to work on because, like, again, I'm addicted to the dopamine stuff.
Yeah.
So I love that. You're preparing for the future. You're not crazy, right? But you're living in the day. You're truly appreciating it. And the authenticity piece is key because if you're an interior designer or you're a home pro and you're really worried about what Susan McNuggets is doing or what, this person is doing over here and you can't keep up, just remember, if you as your own carbon-based life form human being self are the only one of that person, right? You're the only one who can bring Darla Powell or Harry Meyers to the table. And that's going to resonate with clients. That positioning is uniquely you. So don't worry so much about what other people are doing, except, for positioning and metrics for your social media, maybe.
Yeah, sure, exactly. Be mindful, like don't be ignorant, like be aware. There's a fine line.
I mean, there is a binary thing there for marketing, but I digress. But I'm just saying, in spirit, just so don't feel down or try to keep up with somebody. Be the best. Be in your moment. Give what you can do the best, and I love that. That's a terrific sentiment.
Yeah, and I'm not perfect at it. I'm still doing it. So yeah, it's a journey, and will always be a work in progress.
Oh yeah, when I'm 100, I'll be a work in progress. That I think that's just part of life. That's why we're here. We're always
absolutely.
learning. I'm not the person today I was a year ago or 5 years ago or 20 years ago. I don't look like I did 20 years ago either. Sorry.
Like fine wine, you just gracefully get wiser. That's all.
That's it. Fine wine that's turned to vinegar. So, Harry, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we get into the fire round?
No, I think this was a good topic and conversation, and so hospitality. Just if I can impart any type of encouragement to any designers or any clients, just live your life. with the aspect of what you can do for others, and everything else will always come back to you. I'm a firm believer in what you sow is what you reap, what you speak out into the existence out of your mouth, you can never take back. So if you need to think it first, do it, but never speak it aloud, because it will always come back, if not now, in your next life, or even in those that you leave behind. But leave an impression on this world and let the work that I have done speak for me, is one of the sayings that my grandfather actually had. And he passed away last year. And
Oh, I'm
that
so
was one
sorry.
of the things that he just was a fantastic human being. And I appreciate that. I'm not sorry that he's gone, because he lived his beautiful life to the fullest. And that, I think, is a testament of where I want to be in the next months, years, and however long that may be. But just be your authentic self and remember who you are, and never lose sight of that, because sometimes you will, and it's just life and what it is. But just get grounded.
I love it. We're going to keep this beautiful, deep, and serious
Yeah,
sentiment
right.
and ask you, are you ready for the What Up Wingnut round?
I am ready, already.
What would the hashtag on your tombstone be?
I was here.
Okay. I like it. I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
It's very minimalistic and deep.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be so many things. I like it.
Actually, it's from the song by Beyonce. She's actually one of the artists. I know there's probably some Beyonce haters out there, but that's okay.
Not
I love
me.
that for you, and then you just love me for me. But it's a song of I was here, and it's all about the journey and the legacy that you left and the impact that you've left in this world. And that, for me, is the most simplest way to sum up what I hope my life is for each person that I encounter, for either a moment or for a season of my life.
I love it. I love Beyonce, and for public record, I thought her last album was brilliant.
Yeah, I did too.
Loved it.
What's your favorite album? Because mine's Lemonade.
I love Lemonade. I love the Lemonade album. I forget which concert it was. I have it on vinyl, and I'm having a menopause moment, but her live concerts recorded are insanely good.
Yeah.
Just so good. This last album, I loved it. I loved 16 Carriages.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite one from the album.
That's a beautiful song.
I love it. I think it's just really, really good. I love all the chords. It's discordant chords. Anyway, I digress. You're stuck on a deserted island, but you can have your one favorite food forever. What's it going to be?
Oh, my one favorite food. So I love lasagna.
Good choice. Olive Garden?
No. My husband's Italian. I can't say that.
All right. So lasagna it is. Last but not least, please recommend a book that has impacted you on a personal or professional level.
It's Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. My parents made me read that at a very young age. And it's really, it's really something that I think I always go back to. Anything that I do in my life, and changes and transitions, or if I'm trying to level up or just grow. And that's a book that I would encourage anybody to read.
Well, it's clearly worked, because I think that everybody listening now is your friend and certainly influenced by you.
Yay! So. Bring all the friends. Bring them all.
Yay to your parents for having that forethought and putting you through that as a youngster. Terrific. Harry, please tell the audience where they can go to find out more about you and HLM, and we'll call it a day.
Okay. You can find me in 2 locations, on Instagram or Facebook at Harry L. Meyers Designs is the @ handle, or www.hlmdesigns.com.
I love it. Beautiful social media accounts, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thanks to you and your beautiful team.
Harry, thank you so much.
Thank you, Darla.
Harry, thank you so much for coming on the show. I loved our conversation. It felt like I was talking to an old friend. And in truth, this was the first time you and I met. And we're going to have to do this again. Seriously, that was so much fun for me. You're a beautiful human being. And I mean that. Just from this half an hour we spent together, I can tell that why your clients love you so much. Your positioning and your value proposition is amazing, because it's you. All right, guys, I do hope that you really enjoyed this episode. If you're not watching us on our YouTube channel over there, Designed by Wingnut Social, yes, on YouTube, you can see our set, our guests, their beautiful work, and check out all of our videos from our past guests. I think on YouTube, we have a couple hundred episodes up there. I don't know. We're working on like 450 episodes altogether. Anyway, a lot of stuff to check out. So head on over to YouTube and like, subscribe, do all that stuff that, people tell you to do. But I think you're going to enjoy it. We have a new look, a new show, new set. We're elevating our game over here at Wingnut Social. And if you need help with marketing, your interior design service, you're a luxury interior designer, and maybe you just don't have a grasp on your social or your SEO, and you want to grow that pipeline and get those higher end referrals, hit us up, wingnutsocial.com. Sit with my team. Let's do a deep dive and see how we can help you discover what's working, what isn't working, what could work, take you in that direction, and set up a chat. Let's see how we can work together. A lot of working. wingnutsocial.com. And that's it for this episode. Remember, until next time, to get out there Get uncomfortable and be great.
You've reached the end of this episode of Designed by Wingnut Social. But that's only the first step into accelerating your business the Wingnut way. Head over to wingnutsocial.com or call us at 786-206-4331 to see how we can help take your business from meh to amazing. We'll see you on the next episode of Designed by Wingnut Social, your digital marketing tightly fastened.
What do you think of when it comes to hospitality and interior design? Today's guest, Harry Meyers, I think is going to change the way you look at those two together. And hit your microphone. Deo. Podcast juice. Made for a man, but I like it too. Harry Meyers, so help me in welcoming to the show. Help me in welcoming. I don't do this professionally.